Check. Huh. Some program where them have no reach. Christine, you think classic it classic. Out a road them a chat it say. Your program well classic. People can't wait for go watch it, yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Christine G here. I am uber excited to have you all back. You definitely have caught on. I could tell that you're practicing and you're back for more. Part 3 of the 8-part series of Moving Colors. Rubik's Cube for Beginners. All right, let's go. Put your seatbelts on. Okay, so now we're ready for part 3 of 8. And part 3 of 8 is completing the middle row of each face of the cube where they're similar colors, all similar colors moving across the 4 sides. It's similar to what we did in part 2 where we did the crowning on top. Now we're just like doing, it's like a middle crowning sort of. Yeah, that's what, if you want to call that the middle crowning. All right. And this is what it looks like. So, like I said, it's a cumulative thing that I do. So if you want to really, if you're new here, I wouldn't suggest starting here. I would suggest going back to part 1 and 2 and then catching on, because I'm going to go through 1 and 2 very quickly and then spend most time on part 3. So let's begin. Good. So I'm all done. So now we have part 2 completed, where we have the crown. So we're going to work on the crowning of the middle row. What we need to really understand here is that with the crowning of the middle row, these pieces are all in the right spot. The centerpiece is also in the right spot. So technically, all the pieces that we're taking out or that we need to focus on are pretty much 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're just the corner pieces. So it's a simple process. And the next thing you need to know is that sometimes the corner pieces, like this is a good corner piece that's already in a spot. It's probably, this one is in the wrong spot because this is blue. So we know that this red and green technically should be over here, right? So we have a red and a green, and we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 that have yellow in it. And you should mark this down, guys. Anything that has a yellow right now in the second row should not be there. Because remember in part 1, if we start with the white being the top, the yellow is the bottom. So whatever's going to happen here, these yellow pieces, they need to move down to the bottom. That means the pieces that should be here are down in this face of the cube. And remember, they're not corner pieces. They are middle pieces. So they're either here, and here's one, orange and green, and there's another one here, blue and orange, and another one here. Any middle piece that has a yellow in it, you won't work with that one. It's going to stay there because it's a part of this bottom part of the cube. All right, so let's orient ourselves, and then we're going to look for the middle pieces, which is this one and that one here, because it doesn't have any yellow in it. You see them? Not this one. And they're the ones that need to be brought up and exchanged in these middle pieces in the second row. All right. So what we're going to do is let's find the first one. So this is orange and green. Remember how in part 2, when we would look at the cube with the white, we would say that the color on the bottom determines where it goes? It's the opposite for part 3. When you find a piece that needs to go in a middle area, this color that's facing you determine where you move it. So this cube right there needs to go to the orange side, right? So once you have it on the orange side, it can only replace either that one or that one. Now you have to figure out which side it's going to go based on the colors that are on it. So this is orange and green. So that means it needs to complete the other side with a central color of green. So let's take a look. The central color over here is blue. So we can't trade this one out for that one, because then it would be flipped, and we don't want that. We want this orange and green to go here, because then it would complement the central orange and the central green here. How are we going to get this piece there? Take a look. You move it out of the way. All right. You're going to bring this down. Then you're going to bring it back. And you always want to take this back up because you don't want to mess up the work that you've done. And once you bring the white back up, you got to reclaim the crowning that you did. How are you going to do that? You're going to replace this white back up there. And once you've done that, look what happens. Hey, we got that green and orange right in there, baby. So that's good. All right, so we've done that, and guess what? The crown is intact, the white is intact. So now let's move along and look at center pieces without any yellow to see which other one we could bring up. So this one is blue and yellow, so this one stays. Let's look at this one. Oops, here's one. It's red and blue, Remember, the red tells us which face of the cube we need to move this to. Once you bring it there, you could move this either here or there. We just got to figure out which side we're going to coordinate with. And it's the blue side. This color tells us which side we got to coordinate with. So it's red and blue. So we need to choose it to go here. In order to move this over there, you can't move it to the right because you're going to be in the way of the transaction. So if you're going to move to there, you have to take the piece that you want to move out of the way. And then you bring this down. And then you put it back in. And then you fix back up your white. Turn the missing white piece here. And you got to pop this back in because you don't want to mess up this crowning that you did. Always have the white facing you. Take it out of the way. Bring this down. Bring that over. Bring that back up. And look, guys, we've completed, successfully fixed up this corner. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the center pieces again. So we said before, not the center pieces, middle pieces. Sorry, guys. This middle piece is blue and yellow. So we can't use that one because it's going to stay there. We have an orange and blue. So what does that tell us? We got to move this orange to where the center or the central cube is orange. So we move it there. And we're going to have to figure, this is easy because this is already completed. The green is there and the orange is there. So we know off the bat that this has to go here. So we're going to trade this middle cube for this middle red and green. How do we do that? We can't move it that way because we're going to be in the way of the transaction. We got to take it away, bring this down, bring this back, bring that back up. And then once you have that, we're thinking, oh my God, where's the white piece? We need to put this white piece back up there so we could get that crowning that we just did back because we don't want to mess up our old work. We put it back up and doing all that little work right there, you've completed these two sides. So we have one more left. And this yellow piece needs to go down in the bottom. All right, so we're going to look in the middle pieces here and see if we have any other ones existing that we could bring right here. This is yellow and blue, so we're going to leave that alone. This is yellow and green. That one stays in the bottom. We have red and yellow. That one stays in the bottom. And oh, here it is. Here it is, guys. It's red and green. So that means green's over here, red's here. So we need to move this piece here. How are we going to do that? We're going to turn it this way, right? Bring this down, bring that back up to complete the white. Turn this white piece towards you and hurry up and switch this out for that so we don't mess up the crowning that we did earlier. Move it out of the way, bring this down, bring that down. And voila. And now we're done with the middle. Okay, so now that we have gotten through part 1 and part 2, now we're focusing on part 3, which is the middle row crowning. So we're trying to get similar colors all around on each face of the cube. All right, so we're pretty much switching out the corner pieces. All right, in this scenario, this corner piece is in. This corner piece is actually correct because this is blue, this is orange, so that piece is correct. This one is in the wrong spot. It should be over on the orange and green side, so that one's there. And anything with yellow should not be there. It needs to go down here in this bottom row. All right, so let's start looking for pieces in this part of the cube, this face of the cube, and we're gonna look only on the middle pieces. All right, so this is an actual potential because it's red and green, so we know we could always move it up. This is red and yellow. We don't need this one because this yellow belongs in the base of the cube. We're looking at this one. This doesn't, we won't touch this one because this one belongs in the base of the cube and this one belongs in the base of the cube. So basically all we have down here is just one that's really usable. And remember, in part 2, the color on the bottom determined which face of the cube. For part 3, the color in front determines where you set it up. So we're going to bring this one over here and it's red and green. So we got to figure out whether it's going to go here or there. So red, completes this side. The green is going to complete that green side. So this piece needs to be switched out with that one right there. How are we going to do that? Turn this to the side, move this out of the way, bring it back over, bring it back up. Look for the missing white, turn it to face you, and now let's do a switch from that one to that one so we could keep our crowning intact as well as the top of the cube. And there we have it. We got that one fixed. Okay, now let's keep moving around. Let's go back again and look. Nothing, we can't use this middle piece. We can't use that middle piece. We can't use that middle piece because they all have yellow on them. So it makes no sense. There is one left. Here we go. We got one. We're so lucky. So it's this one, the blue and the red. So this color determines which side of the cube we go to, which is the blue. We just got to figure out which side. And this is easy because this one's already completed. So we know it's got to go there. All right. So we're going to take that over to the side. We're going to bring this down, bring that over, go back up, quickly turn this white piece because we want to make sure that we close the top of the cube and the crowning. We want to have it in place. We don't want to mess up what we already did. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep everything intact here. So this side's completed. This side is completed. This side is completed. And we have one troublesome piece. This yellow piece has no business doing up here, This yellow piece should be in the bottom middle. You see what I'm saying? So let's try and fix it. So this is the one, green and orange, that needs to be moved. And it's already in the right spot because this determines the color. So what we're going to do is we're going to look and see which side, whether it's this one or that one. This is already completed, so it's a no-brainer. It goes here. So what are we going to do? Move it out of the way. Move it out of the way. Bring this down. Bring it back over, take that back up, turn to the white to try to complete our crowning and top of cube that we did earlier. Just bring this down like that. And there we go. And it's done. Practice scenario number 3. So now we're up to part 3. So with part 3, we're pretty much replacing the 4 end or corner cubes. All right. So with that being said, this yellow has no business to be up here. This has no business being up there. It should be in the bottom. This one has no business being up there. It should be in the bottom. This is the only one that's actually good. So let's look down at the bottom here and see what's going on. So we have a red and blue. We have a blue and an orange. We have another green and orange there. All right. So let's go. The color on top determines where you go, which face you go to. So now we have it under the red and blue. Which one are we going to switch it out for? We could either do this one or that one. So we got to do it based on the color on the bottom, which is the blue side. So we're trying to get this one there. So we're going to take it down, bring that over, bring that back up, immediately turn because we want to switch this out for that one so we could keep our part 1 and part 2 technique that we did earlier. All right, so that's filled in. Moving around again. Can't use this one. How about this one? Blue. So blue designate which side of the face, which face of the cube we go to. So it's blue and orange. So we know that we're going to be switching out for that one. So we're going to take it out of the way, bring this down, bring it back up, immediately turn, and put that white one back in so that you don't mess up the original part 1 and part 2 that we did. Okay, now we have another green here, green and orange. Let's move it to the green side. And we got to figure out whether it's going to go here or there. So let's decide. Green and orange. The orange is over here, so obviously it's going to go there. Take it out of the way, bring this down, bring that over, look at it, turn the white, put this one back here so we don't mess up our original work. All right, and back up. Okay, so this top and middle crowning is completed there as well. We're missing a piece. So now we have this one lonesome and middle end piece here that needs to be replaced. And right under it is the red and green, and it's going to replace that one. So how do we get this one there? Take it out of the way. Immediately turn this white to face you, so you could put this one back there so we preserve the top and crowning work that we did earlier. All right, and there we have it. All right, guys, you know me, I love to share. I gave you 3 scenarios earlier for part 3, but there was this one particular scenario that just did not show up in any of the 3. So I had to keep going at it until I finally found the setup. And that is where you have all the 4 corner pieces being present in the second row, but they're just aligned in the wrong spot. Like this needs to be over there and that one needs to be over there. So they're kind of like transposed, if you know what I mean. And remember how we would have pieces that need to go from the bottom up to here, where we would have some yellow pieces up there where they don't belong. Now, guess what's going to happen if all 4 pieces are already in the second row? When you go down here, all the middle pieces are going to have yellow on them. See? So it's not going to help the technique that I just showed you, where you move to the color here to the central of color of same color, and then you switch out and all that. So this is what you need to do if you ever is fixing the cube and you come up on a scenario where all 4 pieces are already in the top but in the wrong position. here's what you're going to do. You're going to do the reverse. Because remember, if they're already there, you can't switch out this for this in the same row. You're going to have to bring down one of them down to the middle and then turn it to the correct side, and then you can do the switching. So all you do is the same thing. You pick any one. All right. So what I would do, we're going to switch, let's say we're going to use this one. We're going to switch this one for that one to bring this piece down into one of the middle areas. So take this out of the way, bring this down, bring that around, and immediately bring this back up because you don't want to mess up your prior work of part 1 and part 2. And now we're going to check again, guys. Do you see what just happened? I moved that middle piece that was down here. I put it up here. And what it did was it kicked the piece that we needed down into the bottom. And here it is. So now you can work. Nothing should ever stop you from completing this cube. And I'm telling you, once you see it, remember, the blue determines where it goes, and this color on the bottom just tells you the adjoining face that it's going to complement. All right, so let's take this to the blue side, and it's right there, and we're going to switch out. Let's see the orange is under here, so that means we're working with this one. And you see what's going to happen? This is going to automatically kick this piece out down to another middle spot, so you could do the same thing over and over. So watch this. Let's replace this one for that one. So we're going to take it out of the way, bring this down, bring that over, swing that back up. We're going to put this back up so we preserve our work from earlier. And magically, it puts it into place. So guess what we're going to do next, guys? Now we could search the middle. Now we could search the middle lower ones because there's the one that got kicked out. So we're going to align it with blue. Let's go to the blue side. And obviously we know we're going to replace that one because that yellow has no business doing up there. We put it there just to kick out one of the pieces that we needed. Move this out of the way, bring this down, bring this back, bring that back up, turn the white to you, and we're going to replace it up top to preserve part 1 and part 2 work that we did earlier. And moving along, I'm going to check to see if any pieces got transposed. No. So you know what we're going to have to do, guys? Guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to do the same thing we did initially because we have this one piece. We have this piece and that piece that are still lingering. They're up there, but we can't move from here to there. So we're going to have to take this piece down into one of the middle areas. All right, so we're going to switch this one out for that. Take it out of the way, bring this down, up, face you, turn, bring this down, replace the white back up so we could get things going. So it's going to see that yellow got put in because we kick down the green and red. So now we could put the green and red in, move the green to the green face, and it's going to green and red. Check this out, guys. You see how I got confused there myself? Green and red, always check the bottom. This tells you which corresponding face it should match with. So green and red. So we're going to be putting this here. Take this out of the way, bring this down, bring that back up. Good. Bring that back up there, take it out of the way, bring that down. There we have it. We got that one side fixed. And now let's see if we have green and yellow. Look what's down here now, orange and green. So we could just move this over to the orange and green side, and there's only one fix here to there. Take this out of the way, bring that down, bring that over. Good. Turn the white to you, replace it with that one to not mess up our previous work. And this should be fixed. And there you have it, guys. All right. Oh boy, that was some work. I'm really excited that you've decided to take this journey with me. We have lots more to go. So we've gone through part 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to give you a break because I want you to master all of these techniques, just like how you see me show you. Start from the part 1, part 2, part 3, and really get this riveted in your brain, because part 4 gets a little bit more tedious, and sometimes if you learn it too soon, you could start mixing up the moves. Ultimately, I want to get you to start to complete the cube in like a timely manner, like speed cubing, you know what I mean? So basically this is for beginners, so we're just learning like basic steps. Anyway, guys, it's a pleasure having you. I'm super excited. Can't wait to see you for part 4. Practice, take care, and walk good. Christine G, I'm out.